And for our shelter, we made this kind of measly-looking little, padded our beds with our sleeping bags with small twigs and branches that we could find. And then we spent the night, cold, lonely, and it was a more or less uneventful night. But when we came back to camp the next morning, we were laughing and joking about how we and the rest of us Wilderness Survival guys spent the whole night playing cards and more or less partying and just to make the other scouts jealous. So, of course, one of the biggest Scout experiences was the Eagle Scout project, and with that, I have a lot of people to thank, along with the rest of my Boy Scout experience. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Moreland. He's not here right now, but he helped a lot with the whole guiding of my Eagle Scout project and the whole how I was going to get my whole schedule done. I'd like to give a big thanks to Mr. Whittam for not only offering to use his driveway to build my benches, but he also gave a lot of help in the actual construction of the bench and the design. And of course, I have to give a big thanks to Mr. Hughes, who was unbelievably handy with, hand saws and table saws and any other kind of saw I can think of. You should see the look of relief on adults' faces when I say Mr. Hughes is going to be at my project. He'll take care of everything. And then, of course, before my Eagle project, all the Scoutmasters I have to thank, like Mr. Connolly and Mr. Devine, and my old Scoutmasters, Mr. Rowland and Mr. Chauvin, as well as all the adults that weren't Scoutmasters, among them Mr. Doty, Mr. Robbins, Mr. Moe, Mrs. Chersey, Mrs. Whittam, and a lot of others. And of course, finally, I'd like to thank my parents. Even though we grew up in different times, in different ways, I've always found bits of advice from them that I can always relate to. So without them, I wouldn't be here today. In many ways. So, thank you.